Hey there everybody, welcome back to Groundhog's Garage. My name's Jim, and today we are working on a Pontiac G8. I bought this for my daughter, gosh, it's got to be 7 or 8 years ago now. And here, let me show you the car. Well, if you're familiar with these cars, this is the G8. This is a V6 model. They came in 3 models. The G8, the G8 GT, which was a 6-liter, and the G8 GXP, which was a 6.2 liter. Honestly, this is the nicest car I think I've ever driven from GM. It seems like, as far as I'm concerned, it's like the right size. It's comfortable. Even for the V6, it's kind of peppy. I can't I can't get the words out. I love this car so much. So anyway, she was complaining there was a rattling noise up front, and initially I thought it was the wheel bearing because it was kind of growling, but after taking the wheel off and spinning it, I didn't really hear any crunching or grinding that I was expecting. I took it out for a test drive, and I've been driving it the last couple days. And while it was still growling, it was still rattling quite a bit. So I took the wheel off and I was looking at the control arms and everything was tight. I had rebuilt all that not too long after we got the car. So I got to looking up at the shock tower, and I took the top off, and something happened up here. So I don't know if the bushing isn't seated in there right or whatever, but obviously this isn't right. Look, you can see where it's been beaten over here. I went to Summit Racing and I got a new shock and a new bushing. So what we're going to do today is just take the strut out, take the string off, or I'm sorry, take the spring off, switch everything over to the new shock and put it back together. So I thought I'd bring you along. That way I can talk about how much I love this car, and you can see how you replace the strut. Alright, let's get started. I'm going to take the wheel off. It's got these black plastic caps on here, and I learned the hard way that you just pry them off like this. The first time I stuck my impact, I thought they were the screw-on type like on some of the other GM models, and they're not. Let's see. And here's one that's kind of chewed up on the inside. So pop those off. I'm going to take the bolts off. We'll take the wheel off and get started. So it's shiny because I had sprayed some fluid film in here, but it shouldn't be too hard to get this out of the car. There's just a bolt here and another one down here, and that should release the strut. I'll have to get these out of here and pop that out, and then we swap the spring over to the other strut shock and slap it back in here. So let's hope it goes as easy as I just described. Let's see if this is too big. Too big. Too small. This porridge is too hot. This porridge is too cold. This porridge is just right. Now this thing here is kind of a booger to get out. You got to turn it so that it's got some flat spots so that it'll slide out of here, but they don't make it easy. So let's see if I can show you inside of here. Okay, so what you're looking at is the flat side, and so what I do is put some channel locks and kind of press it against the plate so that they stay on this thing, and turn it a little bit, and then it'll come out. But yeah, the first time I didn't know that and spent a little bit of time goofing around until I finally figured it out. So hopefully that helps you. Pro tip. And now all I have to do is get this stabilizer link bar, and this should come out. Half-inch impact gun's a little overkill, but I have a socket for it, so. Off she comes. So something definitely happened here. That rubber, oh look, it came off the steel plate there. That's interesting. Well, let's get this all switched out. So to give you an idea what I'm looking at here, in case you didn't know, here's the new one. And you can see it's level, flush, everything like that. And look at this where it came unbonded here and broke free. And that looks like it's the piece underneath here that should still be attached to it. And this is shouldn't be crooked like that either. You can see how crooked it is. This side is down farther than this side. Now this is a little sketchy. I'm not really ever excited to do something like this, but you got to compress this spring to get that shock apart. And you always want to be careful. Oh, look at this. Look at all the metal that came out of there. Wow. Alright, so anyway, I've got a spring compressor. We'll put it on there, take the spring off, take this bushing off, and we'll get the new shock and put it together. Here's the new one. I tried to get an AC Delco, but they didn't have it, so they gave me a little bit of a discount on this one. So the guy at Summit did me a solid. So I want to just make sure it looks like it's the right one. And it's not. And it says left. 9464 left. Oh, I goofed. It's the passenger side. Alright, I'm an idiot. Wow. Alright, back to Summit Racing. Alright, I'm back from Summit Racing, and hopefully I got it right this time. It looks like the right part. Comes with some hardware. That's all well and good. Okay, let's pick up where we left off. Let's get that spring off, and we'll put all the parts from this one on that one. Oh, look at that. The bushing wore out and everything. Wow. Out with the old, in with the new. Might be the hardest part of the whole job is getting his boot back on. Yeah, maybe not. But maybe. There's little holes in the bottom of the boot for probably breathing purposes that are making this much easier. Just stick your cotter pin puller in there. Pull the boot down. There we go. And it is on there. Get all the bellows kind of straightened out there. Tie wrap still there. Let's take the hardware off. Let's go back over to the car. So these two holes here go in these two holes here. Oh, it's looking good. So, boot in there. Das Boot. So we got the two bolts in there, and can you see up there the rubber boot? It'll just fit in that pocket, and then there's a nut on the top, but I'll show you once I get standing up here. I got just a little rescue me on the side of the road jack, but that's all I need to get the wheel up a little bit so I can put the bolt in the top of the strut. So that's all I need, just to get the wheel up far enough that I can put a bolt in the top of the strut. It feels like it's seated in the pocket. And then what I do with my, I've got a new one. Let's get the new one. Yeah, it looks a lot better when we started. Can you see that? Am I too close? Nope, you're good. Put that on there. Sorry guys, the battery died. So I've got the top of the strut fastened on here, and now I am down on this side, and I've got the 2 bolts through the base, and all I'm doing now is I'm going to have to get it aligned. So and I backed this out to make it a little easier to get the shock out. So I'm just going to cinch it down a little bit, and I'm going to tighten these up and give you a ringside seat here, I think. Yeah, for the 2 seconds it takes. Let's get a pair of pliers on this over here. Got that. And now we got the sway bar end. Slide that through there, and we'll run that bolt down. Got that tightened down. And I'll put the, this is the speed sensor. Slide that in there. And then, oops. And then, let's get this. Okay, I'm going to have to put you down. Let me see if I can give you a view. There. Just like that. A little twist and it drops right in. Let's give this a little shot of fluid film here. Might as well keep it looking nice, huh? Nice shiny red. The guys that align it will appreciate it. Greasy mess. Alright, let's put the wheel on. We'll go for a little test drive. Alright, let's take her for a little ride. Now I've gone from what must have been a very positive camber situation in the right front wheel to what might be a negative camber situation in the right front wheel. So I'm going to need an alignment for sure, but you shouldn't hear any rattles. I can tell you a little bit about why I like this car. So I'm about 6 foot, 6'1", 200 to 220, depending on if it's Christmas or not. I love cookies, but it just feels like a nice size. The seat's comfortable. The center console and the door armrests are right where they should be, at least for me. It's got a nice ride. It's not too firm. It's not too soft. It's sporty. It's got a quick steering ratio, it seems like, so it's very reactive. There's a ton of room in the back seat. It's got a nice sized trunk. This one's got a sunroof, which is nice. It's economical. It's rear wheel drive. So, I mean, for almost 200,000 miles, this car has been incredibly reliable. Really, all I've done to it is I put spark plugs in. Oil changes, brakes when we first got it. I rebuilt the front suspension with new control arms and stuff. But really, since then, it's just been oil changes. And I'm not sure what happened with the top of that shock, but we fixed it. No big deal. Easy to do once you get the right part. It's got a nice Blaupunkt, did I say that right? Stereo. The G8, GT, and the GXP, I think, have a little higher version of that, maybe 2 higher versions. But again, I haven't driven the newer Cadillacs. You know, you hear the journalists say how sporty they are and how comfortable and what great driving cars they are. But to this point, the cars I have driven, and let's face it, most of them are all of them are front-wheel drive except for the Cadillacs and this. The GTO, of course. But I'm a fan of rear-wheel drive. I can't stand front-wheel drive cars. That's why I drive Tahoes and Escalades and Denali's and that kind of stuff, just because I would rather have something rear-wheel drive than front-wheel drive. And anymore, you know, my Tahoe's a rear-wheel drive and only. It doesn't have front-wheel or all-wheel drive. And I got 23 miles to the gallon on my last trip to Florida, so how can you complain about that? So I can already tell there's no rattling, much more solid, and the roar has gone away, which must have been just because the tires were so far out of camber that it was just wearing funny and making that roaring noise that some tires will make. So I would say this thing is a success. I'll have to make an appointment to get the front end aligned next week. It also has an ABS fault that it's had for 2 or 3 years now. But yeah, no clunks. We're good to go. Got the oil change today. And maybe I'll make a video because I washed it, but it needs polish, so polish and wax. So that'll be the next video. So appreciate you coming along. I priced that Strut. If I'd have got the right part at the first time, it might have taken an hour, maybe an hour and a half. I left a piece out. So if you can figure out what piece I left out and put it in the comments, and if you're right, the first person who gets it right, I'll send you a Groundhog's Garage coffee mug. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, click on subscribe, smash that like button, turn on your notifications, and we'll see you soon. We'll do some more videos on the G8. All right, have a great night.